exceed expectations, and referrals just count.
It doesn't matter how much money you're offering them.
They don't give a shit about that few $100. They're getting ready to spend $15,000. What they care about is getting a quality roof at a fair price, and that's it. So good luck with that.
Let's go through here. So while you guys are thinking up any questions, we'll start with, what is the number one culprit of a loss of profit on a roofing project, Scott?
I think it depends on, if you're using subs or if you're bidding work in-house. If you're bidding work in-house, the number one culprit of loss of profit is going to be labor. We ran in-house crews for a long time, and the hard part was, determining what they could accomplish in a day. Even in, Ohio, West Virginia, weather is such a deterrent. Let's say it's you get a 90-degree day. Your capability of producing high volume work goes down significantly the hotter it gets. So, you got a big problem there with labor. You're going to pay more because they're just not going to be as productive. Or say it's a Monday and half the crew's freaking hungover or something stupid. Like, let's just be real. That is something we face. And some days they show up on Monday and they just don't feel like working, or some days it's Friday and they just don't feel like putting out because they know it's about the weekend and they're about to clock out for the week. I think if you're running subs, though, the number one cause of profit loss is going to be in the bid. Understanding that you did a thorough inspection and knowing that you gave an accurate bid is key. So, like, for instance, if you're doing bids by the square, right? That's just not accurate. What's if the roof is cut up? Means it has extra ice and water, means it has extra hip and ridge, means it has extra vent, whatever. Like, it has all the extra starter, higher waste percentage. There's all these problems that come into the bid that are not accounted for if you're bidding per square versus per line item. So I think those are the two issues, depending on which style of company you run. For us, when we switched to subs, that took out the labor equation. We know what we're going to pay on the job is when we bid it, exactly to the penny what we're going to pay our subs. And then using a good proposal tool like ProLine or some of the others out there, and really understanding that when you plug in your numbers, that's accurate. You're not bidding by the square, you're bidding per piece, per piece of cap, per piece of vent, per piece of starter. So, that really dials your quote in to where you have an accurate quote, and you're almost guaranteed to not lose money if you do it that way.
All right, we'll go on to the next question here, unless you guys got something. When running advertising, online advertising, do I need to use lead magnets to get leads, or can I just push people directly to like an inspection?
I think there's two ways to run that. I think one is to run some sort of lead magnet, whether it's using like Roofer for an instant quote. You're gathering their information, you're getting name, phone number, email, home address, and you're engaging with them. You're building some kind of relationship, some sort of trust in that engagement. I think that's huge. But the other way to do it, something that we've had a lot of success with over the years is, and it's not just through online, but all marketing aspects, is brand building through marketing. So, running Facebook brand awareness campaigns. Am I down?
You were for a second, but I think you're back now.
All right. Where did I leave you at?
Yeah, you're still good right now.
Okay. So you've got that option for, using a lead magnet type of system, or you can use a brand awareness style campaign online, or, other, radio, TV, billboards, things like that, or brand awareness style campaigns. You're not going to track your leads as easily or at all. But I think there's so much value in building a real brand that has trust in your community that I think for me, I believe that outweighs just a straight lead magnet style of advertising. I'd rather, 70% of the community know who we are. They know that we're good. Yeah, they may know there's other good guys or know that there's other companies that are reputable, but they do know that we are a good, reputable company. And that means more to our business than just straight pulling leads off a lead source.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, guys. We have a couple people that joined us. So if you guys have questions, we'd love to answer your questions. Just any questions about the roofing business, whether it can be marketing, it can be about production, it can be sales related. Any questions you guys have, we'd love to address those. Otherwise, we're just going through our own questions. And yeah, a little bit of a different format today. Since we don't have Zoom, Zoom is down. So we're here on Google Meet. All right. Well, we're waiting for a question. What is the best way to train new roofing sales people?
Well, there's a couple ways, and I think you kind of have to utilize all of it. So first off is putting them in a truck with a sales rep. I mean, they need to go out and physically be a part of that process. But before that, we utilize GAF's training that they have. Owens Corning has a great one too. OCU, I think is what it's called, Owens Corning University. Both of those are really good to really just understand the roofing system, what you're selling, the product knowledge, that kind of thing. And then your own system. So I think you start with whatever manufacturer you're selling, put them in that school, get them that training on product knowledge, understanding that system. Then you put them through your sales process, the system that you've built for your company. We've actually finally, it's taken a while, but we have put together a Google Doc of our actual training process, item by item, of what is to be expected and what we teach new sales reps. So then you teach them that, and then you put them in a truck with an existing rep to really start understanding, the on-site inspections and the flow and the conversation and how things should go and that kind of thing. So I think it's a 3-step process to really onboard a new sales rep.
Yeah. Kind of follow on to that. Is there, like, how quickly do you need to see that salesperson is actually capable of performing before you make the call on whether or not they're going to be a fit or not? Like, is there a certain point where you're like, this is not going to make it? Like, what is that point typically?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, honestly, I've been very fortunate. I have hired from within very well. So for me, my main sales reps locally have worked for me for multiple years, and they weren't sales reps to start, right? They were foremen, or they were project managers, or site superintendents, whatever. Like, there was something else before, and we promoted them. So for them, when I promoted them, I was very confident at that time. All they needed to do was learn the sales process. Like, they understood roofing, they understood our company, culture. They just understood kind of what we offered as a service, and they just had to learn the actual sales process, learn the technology behind it. Man, everybody talks about sales, and I feel like sales is so simple today. Like, it's really not that difficult. It's just doing what you say you're going to do. Like, that's 90% of it. I feel like if they can't pick up on that within the first 30 to 45 days, they're probably not a good fit. Some of the guys we brought in from that have worked for other roofing companies and kind of taught them our model, it was a week. Like, all we had to do was explain to them and teach them the little bit of difference in process that we had, and they're just off to the races. So, but they came from a company that had good culture, had good understanding of how to treat customers, things like that. So it was an easy transition. So I think, 30 to 45 days, if they're not really picking up what you're trying to implement, then it's probably not the best fit.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. Robert Collins said, I like Top Rep Flight School as an option. Top Rep, I've heard amazing things about them. We like them a lot. We partner with them quite a bit in general. But have you guys used Top Rep, Scott?
I was supposed to go out to Phoenix. I think it was in Phoenix. They had a big Top Rep thing out there.
Yeah.
And it was right after IRE. And that's when my grandma passed away. And then the next week during Top Rep, my son got life flighted to the hospital for a head injury. So I didn't get to go. I was really wanting to go, but I did not get to go this year.
Yeah. I heard good things about it about that event for sure. So,
yeah, I've heard nothing but the best, really.
Yeah. And thankfully everything turned out good with your son as well, right?
Man, we had a rough couple months. There's no doubt about that. Between health and death and different things, there's all kinds of crazy things. But no, he's doing good, and we're down in Key West right now. We just took him fishing on a fishing charter. He caught fish all morning. He's just on cloud nine. So yeah, we're on the up and up.
Love it. Love to hear it. All right, we got a question here. New company, first 4 months in business with 25 5-star reviews. You've talked about tackling your area first, then broadening. Would you recommend the same approach with Google LSA? For example, only putting your service location in your immediate surrounding location to maximize views versus trying to compete in too many markets. We only advertise on Google LSA for now.
No, the short answer is no. I would utilize Google LSA anywhere you want to be. Increase your budget accordingly. So like right now, and this is crazy. It sounds crazy, but it's not. I believe our weekly budget is $15,000. So it's 60 grand a month. We spend like $800 a month. It will never spend what you budget at, but LSA will show you more often the more your budget is. So advertising in multiple locations, I don't believe is going to give you less visibility in the location you want to be in, as long as you increase the budget accordingly. So, if you're wanting to start branching out into, some neighboring markets, I would absolutely do that. I would just increase your budget along with that.
Yeah.
I am not a Google LSA expert. This is just trial and error for us. That's what's worked, and that has worked for us. One thing to add, we went through recently, we were getting very little traffic on LSA, and we started going through recently and getting reviews straight to our LSA account, updating photos to the LSA account, just basically updating that account on a regular basis. Now we do it on a daily basis, and we have definitely seen a higher traffic rate through LSA because of that. We were getting it was down to the point where we were getting 2 leads a week off LSA. It was nothing, and our budget was crazy high. As soon as we started updating that, it changed to 5 or 6 a day. So definitely take that into consideration, update that profile and keep that rolling.
Yep. All right. Follow-up question. Interesting approach to the budget spend. I'm sure you can imagine our budget versus Rainstar is vastly different. What would you recommend a good budget for us to be? Oh, is that what you just answered?
Well, kind of. I mean, here's the thing with LSA. You get to dispute leads if they're no good. You can change it immediately. So let's say you put your budget at $5,000 a week. You're never going to spend $5,000 a week. But let's just say, for instance, you put it at $5,000 a week and you got 30 leads on the first day. You're not going to, but let's just say you did. And they were $100 a shot. So that was $3,000 of your $5,000 budget. You can immediately jump into LSA and tune that back to 0 or 50 or 500. Like you can change it instantly. So don't be afraid to really get aggressive with that budget. I'm not going to give you a number of what you should or shouldn't do, but what I will say is I would be overly aggressive with it, with a close eye on it for a couple weeks and see where it's at. I can't afford $15,000 a week for LSA. I mean, like we would be flooded with lead if we actually got that. That's 150 leads a week. We could not handle that of qualified leads. We could not handle that. It'd actually be more than that because the last I looked, we were paying like $70 a lead. So it'd be 200 leads a week. No way we can handle that. But we just keep an eye on it. If it ramps up and just absolutely kills for a week, we can tune it back to where it's more manageable. It's not been that way. So I would definitely not hesitate to get a little bit aggressive with it.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Next question here. Pull from our list. Thanks for those questions, guys. So question here, how can I set up a referral program that actually works?
Be a good contractor. Like there's not a better way. We've never had success with a true referral program. What we've had success with is just treating people right, doing the right things. We don't pay them any money. We don't do anything extra. They just send their neighbors to us because they feel it's the right thing to do. As far as like putting a system in place, you could try it. I mean, ProLine offers a system now to track referrals to where you can pay those referrals that come in. And I think that's a great thing. We just found for us, it's easier just to exceed expectations and referrals just come. It's our number one lead source and we have zero referral program. So I just feel that that's truly the way to do it. Exceed the expectation, the referrals will come.
The thing is, especially with this, like people are not going, like it doesn't matter how much money you're offering them. They're not going to refer you if they don't think that you're going to do a good job for their friend.
Right.
And the same thing goes the other way. It's like if you're offering, I mean, if you're offering an insane amount of money, well, you're not going to make profit on the job, right? Like there comes a point, maybe the max I've seen is like $500. I've never seen anyone offer more than that. But so we'll say you offer like a very competitive, like a very strong, very competitive $500 per referral that signs up or something like that. If you do that, then you don't do a good job, but the contractor down the street does a good job. Your people are going to refer that other contractor over you regardless of you can't pay people enough generally to really swing them in the other direction. And the same thing goes the other way. Like if you do a good job, like you're going to be the one that gets referred, even if your competitor is offering $500. Now, if you get like, let's do a scenario here, Scott. If you were working with a company and they're like, well, not that this would be kind of crazy to come up, but if someone was like, you're not working with a company, you're working with a homeowner and they're saying, hey, I would refer you guys, but I want to get paid. This other contractor I talked to was willing to pay me $500. Like, are you guys good?
0%.
You just don't know.
No, it's 0% chance that that's going to be the response from a homeowner.
Yeah,
they don't give a shit about that few $100. They're getting ready to spend $15,000 with a customer or with a contractor. Like what they care about is getting a quality roof at a fair price, and that's it. They don't care about that few $100. That few $100 ain't shit if you screw them over, because the amount of times, and it's sickening, the amount of times we just did one. 3 years old, the roof is completely screwed up. Poor install, and when I say poor install, I mean I've got a 6-year-old that can nail shingles better than this. Like it was just terrible. They didn't even flash anything. They laid the shingles up the chimney and they were just like sitting against the chimney. You see something like that. Well, guess what? The $500 you could have made cost you 12 grand. So good luck with that. Like that's not what homeowners are thinking. They're thinking, yes, I want a good price. I want treated fairly on the cost because I don't want to overspend. But I need a good product that's going to last what you say it's going to last. They don't care about that few $100 referral. If you do a good job, you'll get the referral. You don't like it's not a question. You will get it. So do something like what we do in ProLine where we have a follow-up that goes out. We get a 5-star review. I mean, we crush reviews in ProLine just because as soon as we send them, mark them as paid in our software, they get some follow-up messages with our Google link. They go leave a review. As soon as they leave a review, they start getting messages. Hey, do you have any friends that might need a roof? Blah, 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 blah. And that goes on for, a couple weeks trying to get a referral. We've gotten referrals that are like roofs from 5 years ago because we just treated them right. It has nothing to do with anything outside of just doing the right thing. We had one just yesterday. We did roof and siding. We don't do siding very often. We did roof and siding, and we took her Ring camera down. But you couldn't get into the back of the camera without the Ring key to actually unlock it. And she asked if we'd come back. Well, 2 hours later, we showed up. She had the key. We set it up, mounted the new Ring camera, did the whole deal. She went and left us a 5-star review, said she was going to make sure she told all of her friends about us. We didn't have to do anything extra for it. We just did the right thing. The right thing was to go fix her freaking camera. So yeah, that didn't cost us $500.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, that makes so much sense. You can definitely still track your referrals. I will say, what do you think about, before we move on to this, I have a follow-up question, but NVRC is asking about the QuickBooks integrations for ProLine. So please reach out to support. The support usually answers in 3 to 5 minutes during business hours. Reach out to support. They can work with you on that. There might be a solution right now that you're just not aware of yet. If not, they will escalate it. If it turns out to be a bug, then they'll escalate it to the dev team. Otherwise, please reach out to, or please put it on the idea board if it's like a substantial change. We're constantly making improvements to all of ProLine. So, and it's, even if you add to the idea board and it doesn't get a lot of votes, we're still going to take into account. We look at the idea board for every idea relevant to a piece of the platform whenever we make improvements. So, yeah, just make sure you need to be either getting that onto the idea board, or you need to be talking it through with support, and then either getting a fix, or the support can identify if it's a bug and move that to dev. Those are the ways to get that handled. You can certainly bring it up on office hours, but it's not something I would dig into on office hours anyway. It's definitely something to work with support on. So,
you had a follow up.
I had the follow up on referrals. So I totally agree when it comes to like the $500 for or through 250 or whatever it is for like a sold job, like a referral that sells. What about though just giving it straight up when someone provides a lead? So just saying, hey, like if you provide a lead to us, we're going to give you a $25 Starbucks gift card, or something like that, to incentivize the just handing off of leads, rather than tying it to the actual sale and having it be this big dollar amount. Just because like there could be some friction there. So if you just motivate them a little bit, like, hey, like give you $25 per lead, they're like, oh, here's 4 of my friends that I'll do intros with. Like, what do you think of that approach?
You want to know what works better?
What?
Because I don't think it's an awful approach. I just don't think it's the right approach. So what works better is call your customer when you're on your way to do the inspection. So AJ, you're my customer. Instead of me selling you that job and then offering you $25 or whatever, $50 for this, I call you when I'm on my way to your house to do the inspection. I say, hey AJ, I'm swinging by Dunkin'. You want a cappuccino while I'm on my way? I'm gonna pick one up for myself. I'll grab you one on my way. Just elevate the level of customer service before you sell them the job. You bought them a hot coffee, cold coffee, whatever the hell they drink, right? You gave it to them at inspection. You increase the likelihood of selling that job. You leveled up the customer service involved in that job, and then you finished and followed through the project with customer service, I'd rather spend a $4 on your one drink and take care of you the entire way and know that you're a customer for life because I bought you a coffee, I took care of you, your roof was fantastic, the cleanup was good, the follow through was perfect. I know you're referring me. Like, there's no question you're not, when somebody asks about a roof, you're not going to say, man, Rain Stoppers, they crushed it. They were so good to me. They were kind. They were polite. They took care of my house. They made sure my fence was always locked for my dogs, blah, blah. That's the key. It's not about offering them a pay to play at the end. It's about taking care of them in the beginning phases.
Yep. All right. I like that. That's great. NVRC has a question about campaigns. I'll kind of paraphrase this. Scott, is there anything that automations that you've set up that didn't come out of the box with ProLine, but you were able to build, using ProLine's tools to automate parts of your business that were not previously automated? Besides what's just already coming out of the box.
Yeah. And so the ones out of the box are good, right? Like, if you just use out of the box, you're way better off than not doing it all. We've customized every campaign we've got. We went in and done things and changed words and changed verbiage and put punctuation error, done things to make them look realistic. Everybody's heard about that. But the one that I would say we have done that I can guarantee has completely taken some sort of weight off our company is when they hit the one phase. So when they sign the contract, we have a message that goes out. It's a two-step campaign. It's a text and then a 3-minute delay and then an email. And the text says, "Thank you so much for signing your quote. We look forward to doing business with you. Please take the time to read the email I'm sending you now." That's it. Nothing fancy. And then the email is this more lengthy, well-written email. And the title or the subject of it is how to have a great roofing experience. And so we went through over the years, and everything that's been problematic, we tried to address it in this email. So, like, for instance, we used to get calls at 2:00 pretty often. "Hey, you guys have my roof tore off and shit's laying everywhere. It's a mess." Well, yeah, of course it is. We're tearing your roof off. Like, give us a couple hours, but by the end of the day, before we leave, that'll be completely cleaned up. So in that email, it's basically how to have a successful roofing experience. Number one, know it's going to be a mess. Also know we'll clean up before we leave at the end of the day. Number two, mow your yard shorter so we can pick up any stray nails that might come out. Number three, I think, is move any valuables away from the house. Barbecues, fancy lawn ornaments, stuff like that. Number four is make sure you have cars out of the garage because we're going to back our dump trailer right up to the garage when we pull in the morning. There's 4 or 5 steps in this thing, and it has taken so much headache off of our plate. We're not showing up in the morning and parking our trailer in the driveway, and then at 8:00 they're wanting to pull out. No, they've already moved because we sent them this nice, well-written email that they understand that the car needs to be out of the freaking garage and on the street by 7:00 when we get there. We literally never have those issues anymore because we do that at the one phase. That's worked really well for us.
Yeah, that makes sense. The proactive.
It's also where because we don't take deposits, right? So that's another place that we hit on. The very last thing I remember is, remember, we did not take any money down. We take final payment at completion. So please have a check ready when we complete your project. So it's another, everybody gives me hell about not taking deposits, but we do these things throughout the process of the sale that tee up them to be ready to pay when we complete the project. And that is one of the places we do that. They are ready. They know, like, that's the last time we say it. Be sure to have a payment ready when we complete the job in the next week or two. So they're already, whether it's financing, and that's to help problems. If they haven't got secured financing yet, they'll send a message, hey, I got your email, but I haven't got financing yet. Well, you need to get financing before we put you on the calendar. That's it. Like you're getting put to the bottom list till that gets, secured. So, yeah, that campaign is, I can't think of how many hours on the phone that campaign's helped us.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's often the little things. Yes, sir. Robert, thanks for joining. We're about to wrap up here in a couple minutes anyway, so all good. It's often the little things that we cover the big things with ProLine, like we've pre-written a lot of stuff, but it's the little things are actually like harder for us to kind of pre-set up because it's all those nuances of like how you run your jobs, right? We can't make a video forever that's like going to be accurate to every company on like how to prepare for a job, right? And so it's going to be, but those little things make a huge difference. It's not like it's some big massive campaign, but it's like, and this is like key part of the way we built ProLine is allowing you to go in and like make those little changes, like automate something here, automate something there, and giving you the kind of the power to shape that process. So, all right, guys, we're gonna wrap up here at 5:15. Thanks everybody for joining. Appreciate the questions and the engagement. Thanks for bearing with us on the issue from or moving to Google Meet from Zoom. I'm sure Zoom will be back up and running for next week. So I appreciate it. And we'll see everybody next week.